Assalamu alaikum friends, how are you all doing? Hope you all are doing good and your preparation is also good enough, right? First of all, best of luck to all the ACCA students out there who have given exam and also who are yet to give their exam. Now, let me cut short. Before I start this paper, which is AFM Specimen Paper, which I'm going to do on a CB platform, okay, and show you a demo on how to do it on a CB platform, let me first quickly go through the story behind this. So as you all know that I've very recently just finished my SBR Vision series, I think 2 days back. So I was just sitting like this and I was like, still there are a few more days left, why not utilize this time for the ACCA students, the one who is yet to give exam, especially SBR and AFM because they are the last two exams. So I asked this question also on my ACCA YouTube channel, and also on my Instagram page asking which paper do you want me to do on a CB platform for the September 2021 exam. I gave them two options, SBR and AFM, and guess what? Majority of the students choose AFM over SBR. So that's the reason I am starting with AFM, and I am sorry that I cannot do SBR this session, but inshallah, I promise you I will be doing it for the December session. And another apology I want to make for the SBL students because I've been getting multiple requests from all over the area, all over the students, all over the world asking me to do questions on SBL or past paper questions on SBL, which I couldn't do because I was committed to other papers. So first of all, I'm sorry, but definitely for December session, I am going to do this. Okay. So now let's come to AFM. So in AFM, the paper which I've chosen, I'm only going to do one paper as a demo on how to do questions on in AFM on a CB platform. It is AFM Specimen. This is valid up to year June 2022. Okay, and the question that I'm doing is question number 2. So this question number 2, okay, before I start, make sure that you also read question number 2 and come prepared for this. Okay, because the main thing is not reading questions and getting a correct answer. The main thing is how to use Excel to solve this answer, that also at a very short span of time. Okay, so I'm just going to go do my calculations and you just have to follow my workings. Okay, in between when I'm doing calculations I will be telling you the reason also why I'm choosing this particular number and why this way. Okay, so this is a question on adjusted present value and net present value. For a 25 marks question, we have discussion questions also. So for discussion, we are going to use word processor. For calculations of net present value and adjusted present value, we are using spreadsheet. Okay, so let's start. As I already know everything, I'm going to start with the spreadsheet. Okay, and I'm going to immediately go and start with my first A, because in first A we have to calculate adjusted present value and net present value, because I've already read the question. Okay, the thing is, if I come to read the question here and do from scratch, it will waste a lot of time, and you guys don't have so much of time as exams are very, very near. That's the reason I'm cutting it short and making it only relevant just to do how to do the performance, the calculations in Excel. So let's start. Okay. So here, always start which section are you writing? There are two. Okay. So this is A. Okay. Question number 2A. And write this statement and make sure that you complete this on time. Okay. It should be done in 45 minutes because this is a 25 marks question. 25 into 1.8, which is 45 minutes. So all figures on this one, and make sure that you write the statement so that you don't have to write in millions every time. If you don't write the statement, then every time you're writing a figure, let's say you're writing 5, you have to write 6 more zeros there to show that it's 5 million. So rather than wasting time every time writing 6 zeros, you can omit those 6 figures and just write all figures are in dollar million. The currency is also important, the million is also important. If you're writing in millions, if you're writing in thousands, whatever it is. Okay, and then I'm going to start with a year. Keep one space. Okay, year, There are 4 years, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if I didn't read the question, when I'm doing it, you know the question. Okay, so start with sales, and sale was not inflated in the actual figure, it was an incorrect. Now you have to correct the net present value, you have to inflate it by 8% per annum. So the figure is different given for each year, so on that figure only you have to take 8%. It's not just that first year one figure is given and you keep on implementing that only by 8%. No, so in year 0 nothing will go. Okay, here the figure will go, you have to go to 2. Okay, in year 2 is only that Excel is given the net present value table. This is the table, this is an incorrect figure, not been adjusted for inflation. So on this 23.03 you have to inflate. So 23.03 multiply, okay, shift and 8 multiply by 1.08 because you're inflating by 8%. Okay, 24.86. If this does not come like this, it might be coming in different decimal places. You have to go here, format cell, and take this into this. Under all, this 0.00, it will come to 2 decimal places. I have already said this before, that's why it already came to 2 decimal places. For you, it might be coming more than this. Now, for the next year, I cannot drag it. Okay, it's different. So equal to, sorry, because this is heavily calculations, so don't use word processor and don't try to use calculator over there. That's not a good thing, it will waste a lot of time. If you still want to take the chance, you can try using calculator and see and how much time it takes. So Excel is a better option here. In fact, for any calculation, use Excel. That's a suggestion. Okay, the next is 36.6. So 36.6, when you're multiplying it, again it's 8%, but to the power 2. 1.08 shift and 6, okay, to the power 2, because for the second year you might be saying that this is a different figure, why not just 1.08, why to take power to the 2. See, your years matter. Okay, if it's 2 to the power 2, if it's 3 to the power 3, if it's 4 to the power 4, that's how it goes. 49.07, so 49.007 multiply by 1.08 to the power 3, and here 27.14 multiply by 1.08 to the power 4. No need to show this calculation, write and show that you're multiplying. You can just put it in Excel and it will equate it, because when someone enters this cell, they can see the formula here. So you don't have to write the formula and waste time. Okay. Now cost. Cost, you have to inflate 4% per annum. This is also same like cell, but the percentage is 4%. Okay. But the costs are different here. 13.82. Make sure that you are, when you are putting cost equal to you are putting you're putting a minus figure. Okay, because if you put in bracket, it will take it as a text, not as a number. So put minus when you want to show a minus figure. Don't keep anything in bracket. So minus 13.82 multiply 1.04 for the first year. Every time you have to go and format your cell to 2 decimal places. Okay, it's better to keep it in 2 decimal places. If the decimal places are like coming up to 5-6 digits, don't deal with so big numbers, or you can round up to whole number also, it's okay. If you want to round it up to the whole number, go to format cell and take this 0. You see, it will come to whole number. That also you can do, but better to keep in 2 decimal places, because sometimes the difference might be so insignificant that every number will be same in that case. So even in a marking scheme, they keep it in 2 decimal places. You cannot drag your cell here because the figures are different every year. 21.96 minus 21.96 multiply by 1.04, shift 6 to the power 2. What's happening here? Minus 29.44. 1.04 to the power 3, and here equal to minus 16.28. So you see now what comes. There are no fixed costs, no other royalty or any other thing. So directly you can take the profit. So the profit will be simply some function you can calculate because this is already in minus figure. Just see what's happened. Okay, let's see if you are taking this as minus. Okay, one might be taking this as minus because you'll be saying that sales minus cost. Let's do it that way also. So this minus this. So minus minus, it will be added instead because this is already in minus. If this was in positive figure, then you can take it as minus. So rather than do it as a sum function, and then you can drag it to the other side. Okay. So once you drag it to the other cell, then comes your tax. You have to deduct your tax from the profit. For tax, we have a separate working number 1. Whenever we have working, show it like this, working 2. Then we have working capital. For that, we have working number 2. Then we have investment. Okay. Investment, they have given us 38 million. So 38. You see, if you're putting it bracket, it will not show it. If you want to show it as a negative figure, just put minus in front of it. But make sure I'm going to put it in 2 decimal places like other numbers. So consistency is there. And you are selling this investment, this machinery, 4 million. So you are receiving 4 million here. Format cell to 2 decimal places. Then we are going to have cash flows. Make sure that you make this format first. And then discount factor, DF. DF will be working 3. That also you have to work out. So 3 workings are required here. And finally we have present value, PV. Okay, and then here we can write our base case net present value. Now we are going to show our workings here. So working number 1. Don't forget to take this, copy paste. Okay. So here it will be same 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want, you can write it again. So this all you have to format cell and take this and here. So take the profit. What is the profit? It is just the copy paste from here. Remember, when you're copy pasting this profit from here to here, you just cannot paste it because it is with some formula. So you have to go to paste special and just click the values. You see, only the values will come. Then we have tax allowable depreciation. Then we have taxable profit. after we deduct tax allowable depreciation. This is accounting profit, this profit. And from taxable profit, we deduct tax 20%. Okay, that means first we have to calculate tax allowable depreciation separately. So the cost is 16 and first year it is 50%, and on a reducing balance basis, every year 25% you have to deduct. So here on this side you can take 16 million. So 50% of 16 million will be, you can just take half of 16. 15% is half of 16, which is 8. So this 8 you can just copy here. Every time you go there, select again. Okay, next when you are taking it, it will be, you can just simply write tax allowable depreciation. When you go here, workings can be seen here, so no need to write that workings. Next when you are taking it, it will be here. Deduct the 16 from 8. Okay, and then take 25% on this, because remaining years it will be 25%. It's a reducing balance basis, so 25. It was not multiplied. No, just something went wrong. See, whenever something goes wrong, don't panic. So on this, you are multiplying 0.25, 25%. It's 200%. Format cell. Okay. You just have to go to format cell and take it as 2. So now you are going to take this 2. You see? So if you have to do this in calculator, how much time it will take? Next, you are deducting this with this and taking 25% on that. So equal to this multiply by 0.25, 1.5. So this you are taking here. You see what happened? When you just pasted it like that, it pasted with the formula. That's why. So it automatically deducted this 2 from 1.5. That's why there's 0.5k. So you have to go to paste special every time. Again, select values. Okay. And remember, fourth year, you cannot take just 25% after deducting this from this. No. You have sold it for 4 million out of 16. So out of 16, 4 goes, you are left with 12. And tax allowable depreciation always should add up to your amount of non-current asset, which is after selling. So 16 minus 4, which is 12. So add all this together and see whether it is 12 or not. Okay. So the remaining balance, if you want to find out, it will be 12 minus this minus this minus this. Whatever is the balancing will be for the final year. This is how you get your tax allowable depreciation. It should add up to your non-current asset, which is after selling that 4 million from 16, which has to be 12. That's why. So now you can simply calculate your, because this are in balance positive. So now no need to put some function. You can simply deduct this from this minus this to get your taxable profit, and drag it to the other cell and just find tax 20% on it. So equal to 20 multiplied by this on taxable profit, and drag it to the other cell and make sure that you go to format cell and take it to 2 decimal places. Okay, you see. Now you're supposed to copy paste this, copy to this table. Tax is paid in the same year, so 0 1 2 3 4, but when you're pasting it, go to paste special, again values. Okay, and make sure that this are in negative. If you make one in negative, everything will come in negative, because you have to deduct tax. Tax is a deduction. You have to go So if you don't want that, every time put minus here itself, so that you can take some function automatically it is taken a negative figure. Now we have working number 2, which is for working capital. So here also working number 2, all figures are this one. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, no need to write the years and everything. So working capital will be 20% of sales revenue. And here it will be working capital required or released. If it is released, it will be in bracket. So how do you start working capital? 20% of sales for the first year. So just take 20%. Or you can put this 20% somewhere outside here like this. 20%. 20%. Okay. So when you come here, equal to this multiply by sales for the first year. Where's that sales? Here. Okay. So now when you have to take to the other cells, remember, don't try, you have to lock this cell, because the same cell you are using for the other years, only your sales revenue, your sales will change the cell. So you have to lock this. How are you going to lock this? Go here and shift and press dollar sign. Dollar will make it locked. Now drag it to the other cell. So once you drag it to the other cell, format cell, 2 decimal places. You see? Now you will be requiring this. In the first year, you will be requiring this much. So it is 4.97. First year, you will be requiring the difference between these two. How much it has increased from this to this. So simply, it will be this minus the second year minus first year. So you can simply drag it to the other cell. Did you see what's happening? You can just simply deduct, take it to the other cell, because automatically this will be deducted, this will be deducted, this will be deducted from the previous cell. Now don't forget to format the cell to 2 decimal places like this. You see, automatically it came. So now you have to take this and copy paste it. Only this part you have to, this one, not this one, the one which is required or released. Copy. 0, 1, 2. Paste special. Okay. And these two are not formatted, so format cell to 2 decimal places. Remember, this will be negative, the one which is required. Now you have to change the sign. The positive figure will become negative, negative figure will become positive, because definitely if your requirements is an outflow, this will be released, so it will be a positive figure. Just go and take that minus out. Now what else is remaining? Discount factor we have to find out. But first let us reach to till cash flow. Okay, so it will be simply the sum function. remember, when you take the sum function from this two cell, you cannot drag it to the other cell because it will only take this two cell. So what are you going to do here? Start from here. No, not from there. Wait. Tax you have to deduct from profit, and working capital you have to take from this cell, from the profit cell till here. Now you can drag it to the other cell. Otherwise, every cell you have to do the same thing. And you see, these numbers are very big. It's hard to deal with big number. That's why I round up to 2 decimal places. Now you see, once you take the sum function, it will automatically deduct these things from the profit. That's why I've taken from this cell. So that next it will be taking this cell, deducting tax and deducting working capital from every cell. Okay. This is what I call smart technique. You have to be smart enough. Now, discount factor. Discount factor, obviously, for this year, it will be 1. Okay. And the rest all you have to work out. So the present value, when you're doing it, don't just put same figure. Show the formula so that you can easily drag it to the other cell. It will be this multiply by this. So now I can easily drag it to the other cell after I put the discount factor. So now let me go down to working number 3. W3, you have to label it. Okay. You cannot write all figures are in dollar million now. You are finding cost of capital now. You understanding? So what are you doing here? You have to use the proxy company's asset beta is given to you. Okay. You have to use the asset beta because this is base case net present value. Base case net present value means all equity finance. All equity finance means there is no, you only have to take the asset beta and put it in the cost of capital. Cost of capital pricing model to find the cost of equity. So asset beta you have to find out. Okay, lean to the proxy company's asset beta. So how are you going to find out? Their equity beta has been given to you as 1.5. Okay, you can do in one cell only all the calculation. Multiply by rather than putting in different places. Or if you want, you can put that also, which is 128. 128. Okay, I think it's better to do it in step by step because it will be very confusing. So for that we have to go here. Exhibit 3. Exhibit 4. Exhibit 4. Yes, you see. So you have to first find the market value of shares and everything. 40. So here only you can write shares, price, debt, price. So shares are 40 million. Shares are 40 million. Okay. All figures are in million. This you can copy paste later. Price. Price is 3.2. Debt. Debt is 34 million. Price is 94 per 100. That means it will be 94 divided by 100. This is the price. Now you have to find the market value of debt and market value of equity. So market value of equity, market value of debt. Simply this multiply by this share price into number of shares, and for this one it is this multiply by the this. So total value equal to sum function. Okay, you can put everything, risk free rate, everything. RF, RM. Okay, risk free rate is what? 2%, and market risk premium is 8%. 8%, 2%, and equity beta is 1.5. So using that equity beta, you have to find the asset beta. So now you have to use that formula. Which formula you have to use? Go to formula sheet, go up, and this formula you have to use. This formula to find the equity beta is given to you. So using this equity beta, value of equity and debt and tax we know, so we can find the asset beta and use this asset beta only in this model, capital asset pricing model, and find the cost of equity. So no need to write that formula. Another question students ask me, do we have to write the formula in the spreadsheet? Not needed. When you're doing the calculation, when someone clicks on that cell, they can see the formula here. So you will get the marks. So now, using that formula, it will be 1.5 because that's the equity beta. Multiply that by equity. Now close bracket. Divide this by, again bracket. Okay. So you have to take equity again, add debt. But with the debt, you have to take after tax. Tax is 20%. That means after tax, you have to multiply it by 80%. So multiply by 80%, 0.8. You see? So now you have to format this cell. Format. If you cannot see, you have to drag this, move. Okay, format. Sorry, this. Format cell to this. Everything to 2 decimal places. Okay. Now when I click this, you can see the formula here. Don't Importance of bracket is very important if you are using in one go, especially in Excel. If you want to use a calculator and show it, that also you can use, but better to not use calculator in this calculator, so that easily someone can see that you have applied the formula here. Okay, so here I have put bracket first, and after division again bracket. So automatically when you are taking two addition and a multiplication, they will follow the bottommost rule, and first they will multiply and then they will add. Okay, it's not first you add and then multiply. First you multiply the debt with 80% and then add with equity. Automatically Excel will do it for you. And another way of checking is that whether this is more or less than 1.5. Okay, equity beta that they have given us, proxy company, is 1.5. Normally we use equity beta in our cost of capital pricing model to find cost of equity, but no, this is for all equity finance for adjusted present value calculations. When you have to find the base case, we have to use the asset beta. Okay, so this only we'll use. And if you see, this asset beta should always be less than equity beta. So that means this is correct. Technically it's correct. So now what else? Put this in the capital asset pricing model. Okay. So that means this 1.25, multiply it by the risk premium plus 2%. It didn't show you. So, sorry, cost of equity, or the discount factor also you can say. It will be cost, even though you are using asset beta, write it as cost of equity. So it will be this multiplied by 8% plus 2%. Now you have to take it in terms of percentage. So go to format cell, just format cell and take it in terms of percentage here. You see? And better to take it as a whole number when you're taking cost of equity, cost of capital, WACC or anything like that. So 12%. So this only you have to use. Okay. Copy paste here. Paste special the values. Format cell 12%. Discount factor. Working 3. Don't forget to put the workings like this. And this you have to format cell and put it in terms of percentage. Well, it's not coming like this. Okay, if it's not coming, then you can just write 12% rather than copy pasting it. You can just write 12%. It's okay. Because you mentioned working 3, so if someone goes to working 3, they will see this 12%. And another thing is, it's better to highlight. You can just make it bold so that it's easier understood. So now, what else? For this discount factor, go to help formula sheet, go to formula sheet and go to discount factor table at 12% and use this for 4 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0.893, 0.797 and put it here in this box. You need to put it. Don't directly do it. Because so that later if you make any mistake, you can go back and change very easily. So don't put the number. Don't directly do it in one go. Put it. Okay. 0.893. No equals 0.797. 0.712 and 0.636. Even if it's for 4 years, don't forget zeros, year 0, never forget it. Now simply you can just drag it because already I have applied the formula in this cell. Now I have to format the cell to 2 decimal places. You see, automatically it is taken. So base case, how am I going to find? Simply sum. That's it. Just take the sum of all this. Okay, and make sure that this is also to 2 decimal places. You have to go down below to see all the option here. You see, it's a positive base case net present value. What does it mean? It is 8.62 million. It is $8.62 million. This is the base case. Make sure that you put dollar and million sign also. Now we have to go and do our adjusted present value calculations. We are over with our net present value. Make sure that you highlight it. You can even highlight this cell also if you want, like this. Go to this option. See, like this also you can highlight. So now we are going down. Financing side effect. I am taking a bit more time because I'm explaining you also and doing at the same time, but you definitely have to do all the writing and calculation in 45 minutes. So that shows you have to be having a very high speed. I cannot do it at high speed because I have to explain you also in between. Okay. So this you can write in dollar in thousands. If you put dollar in thousands, it will come like this. So what you can do is dollar, put apostrophe and 3 zeros. Everything will be in thousands. So start with issue cost. For adjusted present value, this is the easiest. How are you going to find out? No need to show the working. Here only you can do. It is 2% at gross rate. So 2 divided by 98. because 2% is the issue cost into what cost? The amount that you need, right? Which one? That is simply your investment cost. It is this from this table. This one, 42.97. It is simply 42.97. So what you can do is copy this, to divide by 98, multiply by, paste special, the value, okay. Oh, I think it didn't multiply it. Multiply, paste special, just the values. No, it didn't perform the function, so just take 42.97. It is in millions, so equal to 2 divide by 98. Close the bracket. Then multiply by. Okay. It is 42.97. It's in million. So 42.97 in millions you have to take. How many zeros it will be? Better to take it as a whole number. Otherwise you will get confused how many zeros are there. Because you are dealing this with in thousands, remember. So it will be 970,000. Don't put comma. This will be the issue cost. Okay. So I'm going to format this into in thousands, right? How am I going to take this in thousands? Let's take it like this. $876.94. You can drop down the 3 zeros. You can divide this by 1000 and take, if you are taking this in thousands. But let's not take this in thousands and just deal like this only. Okay. Then we have tax shield. So tax shield, we have to do annual tax relief. Okay. Under tax shield, better to put the place numbers in another place. Okay. Here you can put 42 because this is the amount of the loan that you need, the debt that you need, the amount of the investment. 42,970,000. Okay, and it is at 60%. Put all the place in some digits in some cell so that you can easily take it. And then it will be 1.5%, the interest rate. 20% is the tax. You can write it also here, tax relief, interest rate. I'm not writing it now. Okay. So here 40%, 40. So this 60% is a subsidized loan, and we have another 40% also. On that also we are paying a lower interest rate, 4%. So now when you're performing the tax shield, it will be equal to the amount of this. Out of this you are taking 60% of debt, so 60%. Okay, this will be multiplied by the subsidized interest, which is this percent, multiply by tax rate because tax relief, close bracket, add what? Again by this, take the 40% because we didn't take the 40% impact of it. Multiply this by 4%. Because for that interest also we are having tax relief for that 40% also, which is at 20% because tax is 20%, which is this 4214850. Now we have present value of tax relief annuity. Present value of tax relief, remember tax we have to pay, and for that we have to going to have some tax relief for that, because interest we have to pay annually, for that we are having a tax relief, and that is also annuity because equally for all the 4 years. So it is simple as this, multiply by the annuity factor. What annuity factor are you taking? What is the annuity factor that you are taking? It is at 4%. Normal borrowing rate is 4%. So you have to go to the annuity table, find 4%, and for all this, for the 4th year, which is 3.636. But you can take for other rates also. Okay, there is assumptions. This is your assumption. You can change your assumptions. If someone wants, they can use the subsidized interest rate, which is 1.5%, or the 2% government yield, if they don't want to use the 4%, the normal borrowing rate. But let's go by the marking scheme 4%. So here simply multiply this by 3.63. Okay, annual subsidy benefit. So annual subsidy benefit also, you don't have to enter the number every time, it's already there on this. Okay, 60%. What is the lower interest rate? Because of the subsidy you are paying a lower interest rate, which is 2.5%, which I didn't include here. And on that 80% because after tax 80%, which will be this also annual you are paying that lower interest rate. So this also you have to find the present value of the this annual subsidy benefit. So present value of subsidy benefit. So subsidy annual factor we are taking 3.63 only, it will be same. On this you multiply by 3.63, and now just add all. So total benefit, remember we are doing two things here. Subsidy benefit we are taking the present value of that also, annual subsidy benefit, then we are taking the tax shield and present value of that tax shield and the issue cost. 5 things are there. So total benefit of financing, just take the sum function and add all. Now this is a cost, you cannot add all, so this you take it as a negative figure. Wait, this you take as a negative figure minus. Now put a sum function because that's a cost, rest all other benefit. I'm sorry, you don't have to add all, you just have to add this comma the present values only, comma and the present value. Whenever you have to add like this with gaps in between, put comma. Okay, this one. So this I can round up to whole number. So if you want to read it, it will be 1,774,740, right? So you can say it's around 1.78 million. You can just write 1.78 million is the financing side effect. So now you need to write this sentence also, and make sure that this is in bold. So here 1.78, net present value was 8.62. What else? Just add, both are positive. So you have to, it's worthwhile to accept this project and you should go ahead with this project. You have to write this statement down. Okay. So total it will be 10 points. Just add the two figure. Sum. This. Okay, just put equal to 1.778 plus 8.62. You see 10.4. So the adjusted present value is 10.4 and therefore it should be accepted. Okay, it's around 10.4 and it should be accepted. This statement you have to write here. So that's for part A, and you can close this and go to your word processor for part B, because part B is discussion. And what are you supposed to discuss? Comment on the approaches, comment on the assumptions, and corrections that you have made. 3 things for 10 marks. Okay, I'm not writing the full answer, but I'm showing you the points at least that you have to write. I'm going to take you through the answer. Just see the points that they have made. Use proper subheading like this. Corrections made. So this is the first subheading that you need to use, and follow the order the way they have given you the requirements. I don't think we can copy paste it from there. Okay, never mind. So corrections made to the original net present value. Approach taken is the second subheading, and that also you are writing in different paragraph. That means different approaches are there, and corrections also there. So many assumptions made. So there are 3 subheadings that you need to use, and after that there are no numbers, as you can see. All are calculations. But I'm definitely going to give you the points to write this answer. I'm not going to write my answer because it will waste a lot of time for you. Already is going to be an hour. So just want to make sure that this video ends in 1 hour. Okay, so first let us go to the corrections made. Okay, now every correction you can write different paragraphs. Let's say you are writing 4 corrections, 3 approaches, and 3 assumptions. So in that way you will get the 10 marks. You have to see among these 3 requirements, how are you going to collect the 10 marks? That means how many points are you going to write? You cannot say I'm going to write 10 corrections or 10 assumptions or 10 approach taken. No, you have to divide them. Maybe you can write 4 corrections, 3 approaches, and 3 assumptions and get the 10 marks. Or you can write more for some and less for some. You have to balance it out. It's your wish. So let's start with the correction. As I can see that there are 4 paragraphs that shows that there are 4 corrections that they have made that you are commenting on. That if you see that there's a space between this, that means there are different points. These points you can write in any way, but first point, first correction that you have made is what? For that we have to open this and keep this open. If you see, they have deducted the interest. Okay, so interest is the point that you can talk about. Here they have talked in the second point. For them is the second point, but for you it could be the first point also, right? Better to go in order like this, so that it saves your time also, and you know that you have not missed out anything. If you are struggling to find out any point in the corrections to make, just go through line by line and see what is the mistake. Number 1 mistake is interest is here. You don't deduct interest because that interest is already adjusted when you're taking the cost of capital. So that's what they have written here. Okay, you see, interest is not normally deducted in the net present value. You don't deduct in the net present value calculations because it is already taken in the cost of capital or discount rate. and it is included in the financing side effect also. Number one. So 1 point you got from there. Second, what is the second thing you can see here? These are correct, investment and all. Discount factor 7% is wrong. They have taken the real cost factor. That means they didn't inflate, but you have inflated. So that means you have to take a different cost of capital. Okay. So second thing is this one. They are talking about the rate. For them is the third, but for you it could be the second point. Okay, so cash flows are inflated. That's why you have to take the nominal rate and not the real rate. And also they are all equity finance rate. So C below, that means you have done some working. Remember 12% we got. And also different cash flows are subject to different rates of inflation. So applying real rate is not an accurate answer. Applying a real rate to non-inflated amount will not give an accurate answer. So this point you can write. Remember you have to give reasons also that why it's not right to use the real rate. Because different things like you see sale is inflating at 8%, cost of sales are inflating at 4%. That's why using real rate for non-adjusted will not give accurate answer. That also you can write in your answer. So second point you will get from there. First interest, second inflation. Wrong wrong discount rate. Third point, what is the third point you can talk about? They didn't inflate at all. Neither the sales, neither the project cost. So inflation was not there. Okay. So inflation part they have already spoke in this point. So you cannot talk about that point again. It's just a repetition. You see it's a duplication. You cannot write it again. But here in your scenario they told that they have excluded depreciation. Under your notes also you can get information. Under your this thing. So no tax allowable depreciation is available on the remaining investment and will have the okay, last point. Working capital and depreciation have not been taken into account. You see, they didn't take depreciation of working capital because they think depreciation is a non-cash flow and working capital will anyway be returned at the end of the project. So about that also you can talk. It is their first point. For you, it could be a third point. So what did they do? They didn't include depreciation also, working capital also. So working capital part you can talk in another point, but let's talk about depreciation. It is correct. Yes, not everything is wrong. It's correct that they excluded depreciation because it's a non-cash item. But tax allowable depreciation has to be taken from the profit estimate. You have to deduct this from the profit. That's what we did in our working number 2. Okay, which reduces the profit on which tax is payable. And then we are talking about, and what's the next point you can see from this table? Anything else? Any mistake or anything else? Working capital. Working capital is not here. So you see you already got the 4 points under corrections made. Here they are talking about the working capital. So you have to include that. It has to be included in the estimate. That's what you have to write about. Even though it will be recovered at the end of the project. Okay. The reason because the flows of working capital are subject to different discount rate when their present values are calculated. So now that's it for corrections made. Now let us go to the approaches taken. Approaches taken, if I can see, I know that there are 2 approaches taken because there are 2 paragraphs only under approaches taken. So 2. So 4 plus 2 plus 3. Let's see. So what is the approach taken? Under approach taken, talk about cost of capital. The how did you calculate the 12% cost of capital? So that's what here they are talking about, that only. That means you have to talk about business risk, financial risk. So initially they have considered only the business risk. Okay. So that's why the discount rate that is used based on Linter's asset beta only measures the business risk. That's what you did, no? You only use asset beta. So you have to talk about it. Approach means what approach did you take? You took the asset beta only. Asset beta only measures business risk. Okay, because Lito is also in the same line of business, so it is appropriate to go by this. It's appropriate to use this discount rate instead of the 11% of the Burang which they normally uses. Okay. What is that 11% that they're talking about? You see, Burang uses either nominal cost of capital 11% or real cost of 7%. So real is anyway wrong. Even this is on is also wrong. the nominal cost of capital. So it's just slightly 1% above that 12%. You see? So this is more appropriate because they're in the same line of business. So rather than 11%, you can even write the discount rate also there in your answer, 12%. Okay? That's the first. Second, under adjusted present value, you have lots of things. So there you can talk about that. So the impact of debt financing and the subsidy benefit are then considered. These are the approaches you have taken. You have included the debt financing and the subsidy benefit in the consideration. Now we are going to moving to the assumption. Assumptions you can write as many. 3-4 assumptions you can write. So the balance, just calculate the number of points that you wrote. 4 corrections, 4 points. It does not matter how many lines you write. 1.1 mark only. You can write that 1 point in 10 lines, that 1 point in one line. It's up to you, but don't waste so much of time explaining so much in detail. If you can write it in short and to the point, that's enough. So based on what you have wrote for approaches and corrections, if you have finished already 7 points or 8 points, that means assumptions you have to write 2 assumptions or 3 assumptions. That's how you decide. Okay. So what is the assumptions used? That figures are accurate. Number 1 assumptions you can always write in any answer is that figures are always accurate and estimates are reasonable. So this first point you can write. Estimates and errors are accurate. So it's better to take sensitivity analysis. Okay, recommend them also. Now let us go to the second assumption. What is the second assumption? Second point. It is assumed that the initial working capital required will form part of the funds borrowed. Right? You see under this one. Where is that answer? Under this borrowed fund. This is the borrowed fund, 42,970,000. It included this one also. This working capital also is there with this 38 million. Okay, so that is an assumption that for the fund that you need to borrow, this working capital is also will come under investment with the investment requirement for this funds borrowed. It is assumption. So you have to write it is assumed. Okay, but the subsequent working capital requirement will be available from the funds generated by the project. But about the balance, you see, only the first year you are taking for the funds borrowed. The balance, this all also you need. This. But this you will get from the funds that are generated by the project. Okay, it will be available. For that you don't have to borrow. Whatever the money that you are generating from the investment, it will be enough for your working capital requirement. Okay, so the validity of this assumption needs to be assessed since working capital requirements at the start of 3 are, if you see year 2 and 3, working capital requirement are very substantial, big in this 2 years. That's why you have to see how validate this assumption is. Remember, you have to write this type of answers. Validity needs to be assessed, sensitivity analysis needs to be used, this needs to be assessed. Just go to second and third year. 3.82, it increased. Again, it increased to 4.98. Okay, so it increased very heavily. Now the third assumption. Okay, what is the assumptions? Talk about beta, asset beta, equity beta. Okay, so first assumption, accurate, estimates are accurate, numbers are accurate. Second, about working capital. Third, about asset beta and equity beta. So it is assumed that the asset beta and all equity finance debt represents the business risk of the project. That means this asset beta includes all the business risk of the project. Remember, we took asset beta only. So the validity of this assumption also needs to be assessed. I've told you, whenever assumption is there, you have to write this. So for example, Linto's entire business may not be similar to the project. Correct, right? They might include other line of business also because you have used their asset beta. So these are some assumptions that you have used. So in this case, asset beta has to be adjusted so that other project businesses risk is also considered. So that's it, guys. If you want, you can see the guideline here. So this is how, when adjusted present value, net present value question comes, you need to attempt. Okay, 2 marks for that profit. That means sales minus cost. That means you have to inflate sales and cost. 2 marks for taxation because you have to work out on taxation. Why? Tax allowable depreciation you have to deduct from the profit. Working capital, again 2 marks. Why? First on sales and then on the requirement and release. The 20% you have to take. Then estimate of discount rate is also 2 marks. It's not easy. You have to take their asset company's equity beta, find asset beta, then use that asset beta in your cost of capital asset pricing model. Then net present value, only 1 mark. Only 1 mark for net present value. So just see if your this step, this step, this step, these steps are correct. Even if your net present value finally somewhere, let's say in your calculation it went wrong, still you will get marks. How many marks? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 8 marks you will get. You will only lose 1 mark. So don't cry if your net present value is wrong. Only 1 mark for the final answer. That's why steps, workings are very important. Because for this all you are getting workings, marks. Then only you will get this 1 mark for net present value if this are correct. So then coming to the adjusted present value starts from here, issue cost. 1 mark only for issue cost because just directly take 2/98 on that value, on the initial cost of capital. On your year 0 cash flow. Year 0 cash flow is the amount that you have to borrow. Tax shield benefit, 2 marks. Subsidy benefit, 1 mark. Because tax shield has lot of workings than subsidy benefit. That's why it's 2 marks and subsidy benefit is 1 mark. And then conclusion. That value is 1 mark and that conclusion is also 1 mark. That statement that you are writing. That this project has to be accepted. If you want, I will show you the answer here only. You see? After the calculation, they wrote these lines. That the adjusted present value is just under this one and therefore should be accepted. You have to say this in clear words. Now let us go again back to the guideline. Second, 4 to 5 marks for corrections made. More marks are here because you can talk more about the corrections made. Approach taken 2 to 3, assumptions taken 3 to 4. Okay, approach usually is less mark. Assumption also 3 to 4. So total, it has to add up to 10. No need to write more than 10. So that's it for this question number 2. And inshallah, I will be doing question number 1 and 3 of AFM specimen paper. This is valid up to your June 2022. Question number 3 is about acquisition and merger. And question number 1 is about risk management, exchange rate and interest rate risk management. Okay, inshallah, I will be doing them also. So see you later with question number 1 and 3. And make sure that you go in Excel and use all these formulas. Okay, today only. Oh yes, another thing guys, I forgot. I quickly just remembered that I thought I should show you now. Okay, so in case net present value is taking so much of time, what you can do is there's a formula here that you can use in Excel to find the net present value very quickly. This is the formula. If you have the discount rate, if you have all the cash inflows, you can quickly find the net present value without discounting it every year. Okay, if you're short of time guys, if you're running short of time in the examination time, you can use this formula to find net present value. How to find that net present value? This is 10%. That discount rate you need, and after that you need the cash inflows from whatever you want to discount. Okay, so you have to start with year 1, not with year 0, because year 0 is it's an outflow. Okay, and it will anyway not be discounted. So here let's use that formula also. Wait, you have to write equal to net present value, first the rate and then the cash flows. So here equal to net present value. Okay, or I think it will be in capital letter. What is the discount rate? 12%. You have to write in decimal, not 12%, 0.12, comma. Once you put comma, you have to start this cash flows from here. 1 to 4, not 0. 0 is an outflow. And press enter. Okay. And from here, you have to deduct 38. So this minus, or you can put some function because this is already minus. Remember, initial investment you have to deduct. Don't forget to deduct that. So sum of this and comma this. Okay, it's not 38. It's also this 42.97. I'm sorry. This comma 42.97. Let me bring this to format cell and to distribute. You see, slightly different because they are taking the whole number and they are using a formula and you are using a rounded figure. That's why you are getting more, but it's okay. It does not matter. So how does it save your time? It saves your time because first of all, you don't have to find this present value every year. Then you don't need this discount factor also every year. So this two line is saved. This is if you're running short of time. Okay, you can use this also. There are some other formulas here, such as IRR we have. Then what else? Log, round figure. I've showed you how to round up using format cell, so we don't need it. Count, power, square root, average, sum. This are easy function. Okay, but net present value and IRR is something that you should know. So that's it, guys. And before this, let me show you question number 1, which is for 50 marks. You see, it has exchange rate risk management, it has interest rate risk management. Under that, we have future, option, forward, swap. Everything is covered. Modified duration calculations we have to do. Ethics question is there. And question number 3 is about, I'm just giving a brief before I start the question in the next video. Sorry. Question number 3. You see, it's about accusation. Okay, if you see the requirement, you will understand. Different types of synergies there. This is usually your discussion. Then we have premium calculation. Then we have, there are some different methods that you can finance your accusation, and what would be the how much the shareholders will receive under the 3 method. This is something often students struggle. Okay, this 3 methods: cash offer, cash and share, and mix offer. So that's it, guys, for today, and see you in the next video, and best of luck for your exam. And make sure that today only you go in Excel, and if you are not knowing any formula, make sure that you calculate, do mistakes, do as much mistakes in the Excel, and see, test yourself under all the conditions. What if things go wrong? What if I'm not able to finish it on time? Then how can I have a backup plan? How can I do something at a short span of time? You have to do this while practicing, so that in the day of the exam you are not experiencing anything new. There, if you are not struggling there, if you have uh, let's say you have come across some situation also, that let's say something is not working, some function is not able to work, your mouse is not working, it got stuck. Don't panic. Don't panic at all, because if you panic, you will lose those few minutes which you can actually use to direct your mind to think, what is the solution, what is the outcome, how can I overcome this? Trust me, guys, when I gave my AFM exam, I'm telling you this from my experience, so that you don't repeat this mistake and you follow what I did that time. Okay, so what I did was, it was a paper based exam. Okay, I was all prepared, I was all very hyper, that I was so prepared, then I was like, okay, I will not make any mistake, like I will perform exactly on the time. But trust me, my question number 1 took more than an hour. It was supposed to be done in 90 minutes. I have spent more than an hour. 10 minutes extra I have spent in that question. So I am like, oh my god, what did I do? Because that question 1, I was not able, I got an option also there, a real option after net present value. And when I was taking this net present value table, I made mistake. I forgot the working capital. I forgot to put there. My depreciation, tax allowable depreciation went wrong. I knew that. I knew that I made a mistake, but still I don't have the time to do all that thing again. Okay, what I did, I didn't redo it. I kept it as it is. Based on that, I wrote my conclusion. I finished the report, everything. First, I made the format, kept some space, just wrote the subheading. Under that, I start filling that for a report. For example, approaches taken, assumptions made. I wrote those things, and I wrote the conclusion based on this. The net present value is positive or negative. Therefore, accept the project. Real option value is this. Accept the project, reject the project, whatever it is. Just did. Then second question came interest rate swap. That I did fairly well enough because that morning only I studied. And third question was reconstruction something. There also I struggled, but um, I know the formulas. Asset beta, equity beta, regearing, ungearing. I wrote the formula. I did those calculations. I know my main final answer is anyway incorrect. But somehow when I went to the came out from that exam hall, I had this feeling, that gut feeling, that I'm going to pass this exam, even if I know that I've done so much of blunders in the exam. First of all, my question 1, I planned so much, it didn't go well. But what happened was my confidence. I didn't let that fear that, oh my god, first question went wrong. I didn't stay in that mode for long. I was like, let it be. I have question 2 and 3 to work on. So I didn't let that stress affect my other two questions. You understanding? You have to hold yourself like this. So many things will go against your this thing. This is all I'm telling you, okay, for you, because I know you will face these things. No matter how much prepared you are, some things will go against you. So you should know how to deal with this adversity and all. This all are part of life. So don't panic, because if you panic, you will be making more mistakes in your other questions. And guess what? Guess what? Imagine you failing at 49 just because you were stressing on that one question. Whereas in other questions, you could do better. And guess what? I passed with 60%, alhamdulillah. I didn't imagine that I will pass with, I know I will pass maybe at 50 or 51, but 60, alhamdulillah. Because the mistakes I did. That means at least my workings were correct. Whatever I did. The steps that I did was correct. I did it. At least I did it in a format. So I know that maybe I got the professional marks because I wrote it in a report format. So what if I couldn't write so much? But at least I wrote it. I wrote the parts. Net present value was there. Discussion part was there. Assumption was there. My conclusion was there. Because conclusion is usually 1 or 2 lines that I can quickly finish. So you have to panic in the last few minutes when you're running behind time, which question you should attempt and how should you attempt so that you cover all the parts. If you're not able to finish things properly, let's say you have just 10 minutes or 5 minutes left, 2 more questions are not done. In that case, do both the questions, attempt both the questions, but halfway, 50-50. Just write 2 or 3 lines or some calculation, whatever, but just do halfway. So balance both. Don't just do one question and leave the other one unattempted. I used to do this. I used to follow this technique in all my ACC exam. Alhamdulillah, I passed all my ACCA paper with this technique. What I used to do half year, half there. Never used to attempt everything fully. Especially during the last few minutes, you will be panicking. Time will go because sometimes question also you don't interpret. No, first time you don't get it. Again you have to read. Again you have to read. Numbers also you keep forgetting because you are panicking. No, in the exam condition. So again you are finding numbers. Again you are searching for number. All this are wasting your time. That's why main thing is not finishing everything. You cannot finish 100% to your satisfaction. Main thing is finishing everything, but in the time, everything you have touched. Even though it's not 100%, but at least give you 70-80% to all the questions. You will pass the paper with that 70-80% also. Provided that your steps are correct. You have done the correct step. Even if your main answer is wrong, let it be. Let it go wrong. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Remember, 50% you can lose. Because exam pass rate is only 50%. You are not there to make 100% correct. Okay, so these are the few last minute tips. And another one thing, very very important thing, sleep well before the exam, because in AFM exam, especially AFM exam, you need a lot of your energy. Your mind needs to your mind needs a lot of rest the day before that. And don't do any past paper, whether it's on a CBE platform. Don't do last paper one day before, because if you are getting any incorrect answer, if you're not able to do it, because you will be forgetting a lot of things you think you will forget. And if that day, if you're not happy, next day it will affect your performance. So a day before the exam, you have to be happy in a sense of stay away from everything, leave everything, shut down everything and leave. Don't even talk to your friends or anything. Don't even ask them, oh my god, what if I fail, what are the questions am I going to get. Don't even ask me also, because I know students still ask me what are the type of questions, what do I predict. Okay, I wish if I could predict. Okay, if I couldn't predict for my time, how can I predict for your time? But definitely it is something in your syllabus, so be assured of it. It is something that is from your syllabus, nothing outside. Definitely something that you know. So you don't have to worry what will exactly come. But don't panic, don't stay stuck. 30 minutes is gone for a question. If it is for 30 minutes, in 31 minutes you have to be in the next question, not in that question. Leave it. Even if you want to complete that final thing, that final touch up you want to give to that answer, don't. Later you can come back and do if you have finished early. Okay. Most of the people, you ask those people who have passed ACCA, they have never finished their questions up to their satisfaction 100%. They've never finished all the questions. What do? They finish 80-90% of, or 60-70% also of all the questions. They attempt all the questions, then they later go back and start decorating the answer. Okay, if you don't trust me, you can go and ask them. This is what all of us went through. This is what all of you also will go through. So don't panic and sleep well. Don't do any question, don't do any past paper. Every preparation should have been done a week before your exam. Last week you'll be just quickly revising. It's like a mini short revision. And anyway, my AFM revision series is up there. You can go out and check. It's there for you. Videos are very short, covers every topic, and this is also there on AFM CB platform. And inshallah, I will be covering question number 1 and 3 as well. Accusation and risk management, because those are different types of question, different nature. So that also you should know how to deal with it. So till then, see you and best of luck.